Japanese banks opening up like down 21%. You saw crypto get smoked over the weekend. We love those events because they present enormous opportunity because the majority of people panic. And when you panic, there's a lot of opportunity if you're not panicking. I am not going to sit here and tell you that when I saw Solana go from 190 to 120, Ethereum from 3,000 to 2,100, that I wasn't a little like, this doesn't feel so good. When my stomach was churning a little bit and I also hadn't slept because the markets were kind of insane, I looked at it and said, oh, I know this feeling. This is the feeling that you get when you're supposed to panic. When you panic, what do? You sell the bottom. So instead of selling the bottom, why not? People want the easy button. So they search the internet and go, how do I become a crypto trader? And these things surface and they pop up, right? Great. That's awesome, but that's not actually going to make you a really good trader. And so the media also loves to highlight these types of things. The same incentive model for the broken media system is advertising, page views, engagement. Doesn't even matter the quality or it's really the quantity of information and people that they end up getting on their site. So if somebody's like, meet the kid who put $800 into WIF and made $2 million, like everybody loves that story. That's a lottery ticket. Right? That's not actually a thing that's of value to you. And until that incentive model changes, you're just going to see more and more people actually produce that type of content, which goes back to the same thing about price targets. These media outlets love price targets because it's like a cheap hit of dopamine for people that can read that. Yeah. And I don't think that'd changing anytime soon, unfortunately.
And by the way, that kid probably lost the money afterwards because if he was luck the first time, he probably feels like a god, right? And then he's going to make the mistakes and learn, right?
Correct.
And the other thing that you said was regarding the online courses, or it comes back to what we were saying before, understand their business model and incentive of this party. And then you understand why they're doing that and why it's probably not the right way to do it, right?
Yep.
The secret number 2, you kind of mentioned it. You need to blow up your account twice.
That's right.
Why?
See, this is another thing that no one's going to tell you because when people want to become a trader, do you think that they want to hear, wait, I have to blow up my account twice? That's going to turn off like everybody for the most part, right? You're going to be like, wait, what do you mean? Like, why do I have to blow up twice? Let me explain why. So, because I've done this.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah, of course.
Give us the examples of when 2 times you blew up your account.
They were so long ago. I just remember the second time doing it. The first time I definitely remember because it was unbelievably painful. It was the same God complex. So what happened, I'll just speak to my example. Like this was, oh my goodness. This is a long time ago. These are like Chinese internet IPOs on E-Trade. Like this is so long ago, probably 20 years ago. I saw this IPO for like Baidu or something like that, and was still like relatively new to trading. Wasn't doing it professionally, just kind of learning on my own. Hadn't really made any money, didn't really lose a lot of money, but was trading a decent amount, and really committed to this IPO. I was like, this is gonna rip out of the gate. I just know it. It's gonna be huge. That's what happened. It went it opened and the thing was like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, $120, something like that. And I bought it at like $40 and sold it like 120. And at that time I was like, I mean, this is way before crypto. That's like unbelievable in the stock market. And also if you're new to trading, you're like, wait a second, I just made like $20,000 in 5 minutes. Like, how is this even legal? Right? Like it's crazy. And then I fucked up. The next day, I thought it was going to keep going, right? Because I was like, oh, this thing's just going to keep ripping. Nope. And so I bought it and it was going against me. And I was like, shit, okay, I'll buy more. Nope, buy more. And the thing just plummeted till it blew up the account. I had using leverage at the time, margin. This is a long time ago, so you get a lot more margin than you can get in like the traditional brokers today. And it blew my account up. And I was just shell shocked. I was like, what just happened? I went from like being on top of the world to being in like a full-blown depression. And what I did after that was I spent a considerable amount of time slowly and incrementally building my account back up, putting some pretty solid risk management principles in place. And then an idiosyncratic event blew up my account. I had no control over it. No control.
What's an idiosyncratic?
So imagine you're long. So in crypto, it's 24/7. In like stocks, you have what's called gap risk, overnight gap risk, because the markets close and then they can reopen the next day, right? So I don't remember what the asset or the stock was, but I was levered long it, and some news event came out. I think may have been like a pharmaceutical or biotech stock or something like that. That was super negative news, and it gapped down like 40% in the pre-market and just liquidated my account. That taught me a very, very valuable lesson, right? I was like, wait a second, like you did all of these kind of like incremental things to get you to a point where you felt like you had control over it, and then you realize you have no control. And so once you let go of the control and recognize that there are aspects of the market that you literally have no control over, then I think you're actually ready. Because instead of trying to outsmart the market or outmuscle the market, you kind of have to get in this bizarre flow state with the market.
Flow state.
And I think that takes just a considerable amount of time to develop. In fact, my trading partner at Asymmetric, I was telling him, I think this was earlier this year. Q1 was a ripper this year, but I think it was like some point in Q2. I just messaged him. I was like, you know what? I'm out of the flow state. Like I have to stop trading. I just have to like take a beat because I'm recognizing what I'm doing and I'm consistently wrong. In the short term, these are like baby trades, but like just trying to like get a feel for the market. Like in some cases, there's certain tactics you can do as a trader to kind of like test the market, right? So let's say, you're trading, I don't know, pick an asset like Solana. And you flash like a $2 million bid on the order book and see if it gets hit, or does that cause the order book to go the other direction? There's little bits of like clues and information there that you can do as a trader. You have to have the capital to do it, of course, but you can see how the market reacts. And I was doing these kind of testing the market, seeing what was going on, and I kept getting the wrong information based on what my view was. I was out of the flow state. And so I said, that's it, taking a break. Like, I know that this is what's cool about me and my trading partner. We're kind of like, Kobe and Shaq, or Jordan and Pippen, or, pick your athlete duo. And I knew that he kind of could manage everything while I got reset. And so getting back into the flow state is critically important, but also understanding when you're out of it and not like, I think in like poker, they call it being on tilt or trading, like over trading or something. Not trading, being in cash is also a position, right? And it's important to kind of like step away a little bit and allow yourself to get back into the flow state, because I don't think you can force the flow state. I think it just ends up happening once you kind of start to get into a rhythm with what's happening with the markets.
This is kind of linked to mastering your emotions and your guts, right?
Correct.
So one of the secrets that I wrote is contrarian investing, mastering your emotions and going against what your guts tells you.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Excuse me. So in August of 2024, we had a VAR shock, a value at risk shock. This is when, August 5th, you had Japanese banks opening up like down 21%. You saw crypto get smoked over the weekend, and the US equities markets, and then the VIX went from like 26 to 66, and like all these crazy things are happening, right? We love those events. We love those types of events because they present enormous opportunity, because the majority of people panic. And when you panic, there's a lot of opportunity if you're not panicking. Now, I am not going to sit here and tell you that, when I saw Solana go from 190 to 120, or, Ethereum from 3,000 to 2,100, like that I wasn't a little like, this doesn't feel so good. But what you develop over time is you detach like your mental model and framework of thinking from the emotion so that you can look at the emotion. So for example, when my stomach was churning a little bit and I also hadn't slept because the markets were kind of insane, right? I looked at it and said, oh, I know this feeling. This is the feeling that you get when you're supposed to panic. Now, when you panic, what do? You sell the bottom. So instead of selling the bottom, why not sell a little bit and rebalance your portfolio, or what's called swapping delta, right? So like if we're long spot tokens, we want to sell those and buy options where you can get more benefit on a kind of reflexive bounce. That I don't know how to teach. I definitely can't teach that. that just comes with experience over time and being in those positions, but also being able to master and control your emotional state. It is very hard to do. Like I still from time to time have these kind of euphoric or panic moments. I'm a human being. I'm not like some sociopath that has no emotions or can understand this type of stuff. The difference is that when you're in a trading mindset, you have to find a way to say, man, we're up an enormous amount of money. Like I'm getting euphoric. I'm looking at buying second homes or a nice car. You know, like there's little things that you start sharing your P&L with people.
I'm screenshotting my portfolio.
These are like,
and
it's so classic, right? And the same thing happens at the bottom. Like I kid you not, I had so many people DMing me on Telegram, Signal, Twitter, et cetera. Like, is this the end? Is it like, I'm about to get liquidated. What do I do? Like, I'm like, oh, we're so close. We're so close to the bottom, you know? And so there are other aspects like that I think will start to inform your view when you can also recognize like the feeling in your stomach and act on it in kind of like the opposite way that your body is telling you how to react.